Randy, is Dexter on?
No Dexter, but everyone else
Okay.
is.
I guess everyone else. All right, we'll give Dexter another minute and then we'll get started.
19.
All right, we're gonna get going. It is 6:01, calls meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call. Alderman Donahue, who's here. Alderman Bilotto.
Here.
Alderman Klinker.
Here.
Alderman Alexander.
Here.
And Alderman Johnson. Not here yet. Let's see if he joins us in a little bit. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from our meeting last week from September the 14th. Is there a motion to approve?
Bilotto makes a motion.
Last week. Bilotto, okay. Is there a second?
Klinker.
Klinker, all right. We'll do a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
And Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
All right. Motion's declared passed. Thank you. I received no public comment, so we have none. Next, we have an item that was tabled from last week because we needed some more information. It's the sales tax rebate for the Thornton's gas station. Topeka, did you have some more info for us, please?
Yes. So I brought Mr. Mark Miller, to come and speak to the committee because this is one of his projects. So as I mentioned in the last meeting, there was a transaction on this sales tax rebate budget line, and that transaction was for Thornton's gas station. And Mr. Miller was going to come and speak to the committee in regards to this item.
Great. I see Mark's on the line. Mark, if you wanted to go ahead, please. Mark.
Mark, you got to do *6 on mute the phone. You're good now, Mark. Oh, he just disappeared.
I see Dexter's here as well.
Yeah, he just got in.
All right, welcome, Dex. Did Mark? Did we lose him?
Yeah, he disappeared. I'll get him back in a sec.
All right, we'll come back to this item then. So next, item 5, it's the fire department advanced life support upgrade. This was an item that we talked about a couple weeks ago and then went to the Public Health and Safety Committee with the recommendation. I see Chief Rita's here. If you wanted to kind of just go over what your 3 recommendations were and then what the Public Health and Safety Committee sent to us for approval, for further approval. Chief, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
As Alderman Donahue stated, you guys should have in the packet for this evening the 3 updated options from the original 3 that I had presented a while back to you guys. This did go before Public Health and Safety last week. They recommended going with option 3 after a discussion. What that is hiring 3 full-timers, stipends to 12 of our current medics or will be current medics at the rate of $5,000 a piece, and then sending 3 to medic school, and then overtime on the 3,450 hours. Where I got that number was based on discussion with our EMS regional director to determine how many hours each individual would have to go to in order to fulfill their obligation to complete medic school. And then averaged the hourly rate for for the last year has been our overtime rate. Now, obviously, that's going to fluctuate depending on who we go or who we send and what their rate is. But that was as close to that was as close to the numbers as I could get for you at this point. Again, some of the other options that we talked about, the reason we decided, or that they went with 3, was based on what will give us the ability to staff as quickly as possible, and also obviously try and keep costs down to a minimum. The silver spanner, which would have been under option 2, and I think I brought up to you guys the first go around. The reason we're shying away from that is because it's only a 1-year thing, and it only buys us a little bit of time. It does not guarantee us that there's a spot covered 24/7, as would hiring and obviously getting our own guys up to speed. So that's pretty much why we didn't go with 2. And 1, there was a little bit of discussion about 1, but there's a few more variables that are not in there, and overtime being one of them, or the biggest one. So that being said, the breakdown for the overall cost roughly is at the bottom there for each option. The good news with that, to offset some of this cost, not only is the equipment, as I mentioned before, going to be covered under the CARES Act, but if we do go to ALS, we're obviously able to then change our rates, which would allow us to collect a little bit more money based on some things there. That's projected based on a neighboring town's average, what they charge for an ALS call, based on the number of calls that we have, a projection of about $474,000 back to us, or in addition to what we already collect. Coupled with the GMT, which you guys approved, I believe it was last month or the month before. Conservatively, based on some of our numbers, I had our billing company, and they got that back to me after public safety last week. But GMT, based on our number of calls, and what that is that offsets the cost of what we're losing or not able to collect through Medicare and Medicaid currently. What that will allow us to do based on our numbers again, and this is again what they gave me, and just using our BLS numbers, we would be able to collect around another $346,000 in addition. So as you can see, between those two, being able to upgrade and this GMT program, we're looking at, again, roughly between 700 and some thousand to 900 some $1,000 in revenue based on our ambulance service. So that should offset and negate some of these costs. And hopefully, and I know Alderman Klinker had sent this to you guys earlier about the replacement program. And obviously, as we get into the appropriations for 21 discussion there, but depending on how we look, and we had talked earlier this year about setting some money aside maybe for that as well. This would help. There would be plenty of money there for that as well, is what I'm getting at. So again, looking for direction on how we got to go. Obviously, there's going to be some negotiations involved with the union. Their contract is up at the end of next year. So there's a list. There's still some variables here, but that's as close to the numbers as I can get as we sit today.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Are there any questions from members of the committee?
Alderman Bilotto here. I'm in support of this 100%. We have to figure out how do we run with it since we're only a few months away from the new budget year, or how would the finance chair or Topeka want to handle it?
If you're talking more in regards to the vehicle replacement program, Alderman Bilotto?
Yeah, the upfront costs. Yeah, where are we gonna? I think we could find it in the budget.
I think where that came from, it was to be included with the 21 appropriation. They just
that's right. That's what I had a question about. Yeah, that sounds good.
Right? Is that correct, Chief Rita and Jim? My understanding for the tower and the new ambulance would be to include it in next year's appropriation, not changing it to this year.
Right. I just threw that in there for illustration to say that's where we were at money-wise, what you guys had available. I will caution that, again, we can get the equipment ordered. We have to do that. That's that $200,000 to some $1,000 that we're going to be looking at to upgrade in equipment for the ALS equipment, not the ambulance. That's the supplies on the ambulance and some of the devices that we're going to need. That has to be in. We have to have that submitted by the end of the year, or by the end of this year in order for it to be paid for. So that we have to go with. So, as far as the other stuff, the schooling, we have until middle of October to get seats for the upcoming paramedic class. So, time is kind of the essence in that regard to be able to get some of this stuff figure it out as far as that goes. But yes, the equipment replacement and some of the other stuff can certainly be put off until 2021's appropriations.
Okay, perfect. I know Alderman Johnson, I know you're going to say something and we kind of cut you off. If you wanted to go ahead, please.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to know, just like he just broke it down, what steps we need to take, immediately. And I was wondering, did we have to make a motion to approve it in order to send it to the full city council, or how will we go about that?
Yeah, I think the plan today was to approve option 3, the same as public health and safety did. So the chief could go ahead and get those seats filled for the paramedic class and do everything he does for the CARES Act now, so it's all covered.
Well, I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second it, Alderman Bilotto.
Any other questions? No, just I wanted to say thanks, Chief. I thought what you put together is very thorough the last time and this time. It was a lot of good information. Could you just send me a clean email with the 3 options on it? Because I have so much stuff. I'm trying to find it, and I'm just having trouble. So if you could just shoot that to me so when I make my minutes next week, I can include it. All right, okay. So we had Alderman Johnson with a motion and Alderman Bilotto with a second. There were no other questions.
Kevin, I got a question.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Jim.
Sorry. Hey, Chief, obviously you're gonna have to get guys in class and get the, that figured out. That's probably your first step, is to get the seats in the class and everything. And you said you're gonna be negotiating with the union. If you could just keep us apprised of what's going on with that too, between you and Topeka. Because, like you said, there's some things that are gonna have to kind of give and take here and there. So that's all I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right. I don't think there's anything else on this item. So we had a motion by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Bilotto. We'll do a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right. 5 ayes. So we'll say that's passed. Great. I saw Mark's back on the line. Mark, if you wanted to go ahead for the sales tax rebate for the Thornton's gas station, please. Mark?
Mark, you have to do *6 on your phone.
There we go. Mark, I seen it come off mute there.
Yeah, he's unmuted. It shows he's not muted.
Hey, guys.
Mark?
Hey,
yeah,
Mark.
Hey, there you are. Hello.
All right.
Well, good.
Yep.
Oh, good. Yeah. Floor's yours, sir.
All right. Yeah, on the rebate, in the agreement, you can either use business district funds, sales tax funds, or it is TIF eligible if the money's in the TIF. So those are any one of the 3 choices.
That was my question. Chairman, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Alderman.
Mark, that was my question from last time. It was an easy question. Is there any money in the TIF that we can use that first? 'Cause I know we like to dip into that first before we do the balance out of the business district.
There is some.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, speak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was just going to let you know, Alderman Bilotto, there's only $11,000 in that TIF account right now, so it's not enough to cover the full transfer amount.
Well, that's what I'd like to use with the 11,000 there, and then supplement that with the business district funds. Because the TIF is only that boundary. It's doesn't include any other area.
It's just its store. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm fine with, if we could do that, I'll make a motion for that even if you want.
Yeah, Alderman, were there any other questions about that? I know we kind of hammered this out a lot last week. We just need a little clarification. So there's a motion by Alderman Bilotto. Is there a second?
A second.
Alderman Alexander. All right. Any questions? No. All right. We're going to do a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson. Dex, you're on mute. Dexter? Oh,
Yeah.
are you an aye?
Yeah.
Okay, great. 5 ayes. That motion is declared passed. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Topeka, for clarifying that for us.
Sure, and then if you would just leave a little bit of a balance in there, just in case anybody, if they dispute their taxes or whatever, if they get any kind of a credit.
Then we can amend it for 10 flat and the remainder comes out of the business district, 1,000 some bucks. Okay, Mark?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, I amend it to the 10,000 from the TIF and the remainder to come out of the business district.
All right, I think we have to revote now. Hold on. 10, yeah, the
I
top, TIF, right.
Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
what was the or Bilotto? What was the remainder amount after that you had to dig out the TIF? I mean, out of the business district.
I think the total
What do you say?
amount. What was it,
There's
Kevin?
11,000 in that?
Okay.
Yeah, how much was
Yes,
the total?
there's $11,000 in the TIF account right now.
What was the total
Okay.
rebate? 21?
Yes.
We have
Mhm.
21,411.
So it'd be 10 out of the TIF and 11 and change out of the business district.
But okay, and that's for the rebate, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we had an amended motion. Is there a second on Alderman Bilotto's amended motion?
A second.
All right, Alderman Alexander, we'll have to do a roll call vote again. Donahue's an aye. Bilotto,
Aye.
Klinker,
Aye.
Alexander,
Aye.
and Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, that amended motion passed. All right, thanks again, Mark. Thank you, Topeka.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, moving along, Topeka, we have, again, this was an item we talked about a couple weeks ago, the Alliant CalSag Trail policy proposal for the insurance on the trail. Topeka, if you wanted to go ahead and tell us what's now happening with this, please.
Yeah, sure. So we went back to I went back to MWRD and asked them if we can self-insure for the bike trail portion, and they told us yes. And so I proposed that to Alliant and asked them to go back out to the market and see if we could get an insurance policy premium lower than the $18,000 with the new additional detail that we can self-insure for the bike trail portion. So he came back with some different proposals as shown in the contract. He gave us a proposal where we had two options where bike exposure was actually included, and that was still the $18,000. And then we had another proposal in there, which was from one of our regular policyholders that we had from last year, and a new one, and that premium came down to $5,125 annually, which is a $210 increase from our last year's premium. So if the committee was okay with moving forward with that, we can bind the policy for the CalSag Trail, and we can move forward with having insurance coverage.
Great. Can you just really quick, you say what that new premium was? I caught the very tail end of it.
Sure. It's $5,125, which is $210 more than our last year's premium.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any questions? No, I think this sounds a lot better than what originally was proposed. We're glad we're able to find something different, and we're going to have insurance on this. Is there a motion to approve?
Alderman Bilotto, I just want to state, I still want to renegotiate that lease. And I'm voting for this because it's pretty much the same as last year, but I want to negotiate that lease because I think we're getting the not fair end of the stick here.
I second that as well, Chairman. I agree with Alderman Bilotto.
All right, great. So Fred, were you making a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
So we have a motion and a second by Alderman Johnson. We're going to do a roll call vote. So we have Alderman Donahue's an aye, Bilotto,
Aye.
Klinker,
Aye.
Alexander,
Aye.
and Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Great. All right. Motion's declared carried. All right. That takes care of all the old business and outstanding issues. Next, we have payroll, which is from 9/18/2020. It's in the amount of $375,164.60. Are there any questions from this last payroll? No, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the payroll?
I make a motion.
All right, is there a second for approving payroll?
Klinker.
Second.
Alderman Klinker with the second. We had a motion by Alderman Alexander, second by Alderman Klinker. We'll be doing a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue, aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right. 5 ayes, motion's declared carried. So moving along, we have accounts payable for the week ending September the 25th, 2020. It's in the amount of $333,368.80. Are there any questions regarding the accounts payable?
I have a comment, and I'm trying to find it now. But if anybody else would like them to go forward, I just don't want to go to approval just yet. I can't find it in the pile. Having a hard time finding it.
Yeah, Johnson question.
Yeah, go ahead,
On
Alderman.
on this Montana and Welch bill, is this for the month or? Because I didn't see it, how it was broke down, so I'm asking the question.
Yeah, that was for their, I believe that's the month of August is invoice.
So did they
Kevin.
give a breakdown of the August
They
invoice?
did. I will ask Matt to make sure he sends that to the entire committee as well.
Kevin, I think the larger amount was from January or something, right? And the $500 is from last month.
Yeah, one of them, there's 2 months on here. One was an old one and one was just recent.
Yeah, he resent
Alderman
out.
Bilotto, you're correct. The
Yeah.
larger amount is from January. You're absolutely correct. And then
He
the
sent it in
smaller amount is
earlier.
the more
It was missed or something, right? I mean,
yes, you're
Yeah.
correct, Alderman.
And then the 500s for August, which I know he sent the January one back maybe end of July with a whole bunch of other ones. And that August one, I'll make sure that he sends to everybody as well.
I remember my comment now with the accounts payable, Chairman.
All right.
We have a golf
Dexter,
outing.
was that it, Alderman Johnson?
Yeah, because we
I don't wanna
asked
cut you
both,
off.
we asked for all, for the law firms to give us a breakdown of the expenditures and things they were supposed to do. That was the agreement we had made, and they have not presented those. So that was my question, and thank you for my answer as well.
Okay. Alderman Bilotto.
Could I ask a question on that real quick before we go to something else? So
Sure.
does that come to Topeka? Does that come to you broken down like like the same one as Odelson and Stirk does? I know Odelson and Stirk also emails it to us, but when you get the invoice from Montana and Welch, is there a breakdown?
Yes, they do send us a breakdown, yes. But
Okay, I think we've asked that in the past, whether it's from Montana and Welch or from you or whoever it's from. I think that's what Alderman Johnson's getting to. We need to see what that is before we can approve it. And I think, like you said,
Yes.
Kevin, I believe this one is one that, and I'm trying to look back to see if I can find it, that Montana and Welch sent to the Finance Committee maybe a couple weeks back.
He sent, on July the 17th, he sent it to everybody.
Okay, it was more than a couple weeks then, yeah. And said it was missed, but I do believe that he sent it to everyone. Yeah, July the 17th.
Is when he sent it to everyone. So like 2 weeks ago, he sent the Finance Committee saying that there was this outstanding January one, but on July the 17th, he sent the full invoices
To the whole council.
to the whole city council. That's
Yeah, I'm looking at the email myself right now. Yeah. Okay. So we have actually seen it is what I'm getting at. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, we absolutely have. And for whatever reason, that one just got lost in the shuffle because we have paid February till August. For whatever reason, January was never, it just got mixed up, which happens.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Phil, I know you've been waiting patiently if you wanted to go ahead.
No, my comment was the golf outing, $1,000 sponsorship. Is that something that's mislabeled for the South Suburban Mayor's managers? Because our dues are around that. Our dues are like 10 grand, right?
yes. So Alderman Bilotto, since we didn't renew, we didn't pay the dues this year, Mayor Vargas asked if we could do a sponsorship for their golf outing. And so they had different levels, and that was the level that we agreed upon. So instead of the 10,000, we're doing a 1,000 sponsorship for the golf outing.
We are paying dues to one mayors and manager association. We agreed not to pay for the other one, right, Chairman?
I thought at the time that we came back though and agreed to end up paying both of them because both did contribute money for road projects and certain things.
Yeah,
No, we only agreed to pay one of them.
Well, if we didn't, I guess if we didn't pay the dues, I'm fine with the whole sponsorship for the mayors and managers group because it's not a political organization. It's a group of communities that are under an umbrella.
Yeah, but we're not members of this organization now, correct? We didn't pay dues for it for this year, correct? Is what you're saying?
No, we didn't pay dues for it this year. That's what I'm saying.
So basically, this is a donation for a golf outing.
It's a sponsorship, yes.
Which is a donation. Okay, I'm going to vote no to that one. I really don't see why we should just be giving money away to people for golf outings because who's going to hit us up for the next golf outing, in my opinion? I mean, if we're part of the organization and it was dues seems to me like a much more reasonable thing to ask the taxpayers to pay, but to ask the taxpayers to pay $1,000, even though it's only $1,000, which isn't that much, but it's still $1,000. I have an issue with that.
So we're not a member of the organization at all anymore.
No, we're not a member of this one. No, we're a member of the other one, which I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. But we're not. We didn't renew the membership for this one.
All right. Well, I'm okay pooling this invoice. If that's what the committee wants to do.
This is Alderman Johnson.
Go ahead, Alderman.
I got a question. Topeka, so we were always a member of this. Am I correct? We just not a member this year, or
yes,
what?
Yeah. So when we went through our budget reduction exercise, this was one of the memberships that we decided not to renew just for this year because of the cost.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So do we want to pool this to the Southwest mayors?
I'm not going to vote for it either, Chairman, so I don't know however you want to handle it.
I'm fine pulling it. I think Alderman Klinker said he was a no, so that is the majority of the committee. Unless someone has an argument of why it should be paid. This is the mayor going ahead and sponsoring a golf outing hole, so.
So with him sponsoring this, Chairman, is it? I'm just saying it's outside money. It's not in-house money, right? Is it Blue Island taxpayers' money that's sponsoring this, or people just donating?
This is 100%
Taxpayer money.
taxpayer dollars staying for this. All right, so I think we're going to pool that, and the new amount is $3,332, $368.80. Are there any other questions on the accounts payable?
Yes, I do. I have a question. Topeka, the Constellation New Energy, that's the new electric company that we're using now. And I know we switched to them because we were supposed to have a savings. Have you seen a savings between the bills from this and coming?
So Constellation handles our light bill. Maybe, are you thinking of Lingo that was supposed to give us the savings for our phone?
Oh, it's just
Because
Lingo? I thought it was the electric company as well.
Yeah, so it's Lingo actually. So I was just talking to Paul about that last week, and they just took, I believe he said 23 of the lines from AT&T, which AT&T has 53 of the lines. So he said in October is when we'll actually start to see the savings because they're still doing the infrastructure type of work, which is transferring all the lines over. So we received our first invoice for the work that they're doing. So you'll see it in the AP this time. And when we get our invoice from AT&T next month, we should see the savings.
Okay, so it's only for the phone service, not the electric service.
No, electric is for Constellation. You're right with that, but Constellation, we've been using Constellation for a while, and what they do is they aggregate all our bills up for us from ComEd.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, any other
Excuse me,
questions?
Alderman Donahue, you may want to restate the amount of the payables. I think it came out when you stated it. I don't think you stated it an
Okay.
accurate
Okay.
amount.
Sure, so I subtracted the $1,000 from it, so it's $332,368.80 is the new amount by pooling the Southwest Mayor's $1,000 sign donation.
I think you just by mistake said 3,368, and I just wanted you to state the correct amount.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I was doing it quickly. Thank you there. Appreciate that. All right. Is there a motion to approve the accounts payable with the new amount that's listed?
Klinker.
Bilotto seconds.
All right. All right. Motion by Alderman Klinker, second by Alderman Bilotto. We'll do a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
No.
All right. 4 ayes, 1 no. The motion is declared carried. All right, moving on to item number 9. This is Rec Center. It's a proposal from Bob's Heating and Cooling for AC and heating maintenance. This is an item that we have to do, I think, every year, every other, make sure the warranty does not lapse on the AC and heating units at the Rec Center. Any questions?
I make a motion to approve it.
Seconded, Bilotto.
All right. Great. We'll be doing a roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Was there a question?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So we have a motion by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Bilotto. We'll be doing a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, great. All right, now number 10, this is the fire department vehicle replacement recommendations. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but Chief, if you just wanted to go in just a little bit of detail of what these 2 recommendations are that came from the Public Health and Safety Committees. Thank you.
Again, thank you. As Alderman Donahue alluded to, Public Health and Safety, Alderman Stevo had recommended or asked that the vehicle replacement be placed or forwarded on to you, and he made a motion which passed unanimously to explore purchasing a aerial replacement for our tower ladder and 2 ambulances. I think it was discussed that they obviously, after it goes through you guys, to go through to the whole committee for consideration during the 2021 appropriations. Just to update everybody on some news, after that meeting Tuesday, I met with our mechanic who had, they were in the process of last week bringing the truck back, and it blew a transmission line on the way back. It has now transmission issues. They're looking to flush it. I'm waiting to hear if that works. It may be too costly to repair anyway if we have to put another couple. I don't know. He said a new transmission is going to cost anywhere between $14,000 and up. And that was just for the parts and not labor. And obviously, everything goes with it on a 23-year-old truck. So the time is here. I mean, we have to look at, as we discussed last year, replacing the ladder truck and possibly an engine in the very near future, and obviously the ambulances. I mean, our entire fleet in the next probably 8 years is going to have to be turned over. Based on, I have given recommendations in my annual reports the last 2 years, which breaks down respectively what the lifespan is as far as recommended by NFPA for our equipment. So we're coming up on the truck's over, the engines are coming up. Certainly as we go into negotiations, like we just talked earlier in this meeting, we'll have more discussion, but again, food for thought that we're going to have some type of replacement here in the near future on our equipment.
Chairman, I have a couple questions.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Chief, on the ladder truck, Is there, I know this is going to be a huge expense because I remember I was young when the department got this one. I think it was a salesman sample or a lease or something. Jim would know. He was at the department.
It was
But
a demo unit.
It was a demo. I remember it was a demo,
Yeah.
so we got a good price on it. And I know back then it was a lot of money. Is there a savings? Do we have to go as high as that one did anymore?
Well, I mean, so the replacement for the vehicle as is that we currently have, which is a tower ladder. So if we were to replace the tower ladder for tower ladder, we're looking at between 1.1 and probably 1.6-1.7 million. To answer your question, do we have to go that high? No. What I would like to discuss, obviously, as we move into this and different options, because we're going to have an engine shortly there behind it, if we can couple an aerial replacement or a truck, not necessarily a tower ladder, and an engine for the same amount, would you guys be interested in pursuing that, knowing that, again, we're going to have to replace an engine shortly hereafter? Our reserve engine right now, or one of our reserve engines, is a 1994. So that's 4 years older than the truck. So again, the equipment replacement program as a whole, and we discussed this a little bit during appropriations too, is I would like to get on some type of plan or develop the plan so that we're not incurring such large costs as obviously all at once in the future. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yes, we don't necessarily have to spend that amount of money total for one vehicle, but if we could maybe spread it out over two, it might be more advantageous for the city as a whole.
No, I agree. And I know the reasoning behind it was, one, was a good deal, and another reason was for the hospital. But the hospital is non-existent as of right now for the immediate concern. And then there's nothing else in town that's more than 3-4 stories, except for maybe the Masonic Temple at 5 stories. But if there's a way we can get two trucks for the price of one, and obviously there's going to be a financing portion here and spread it out over a number of years, I'm in favor of that. We're increasing our trucks and getting new fleets, and if we don't have to go as high to save the costs. I'm familiar with car prices, or at least antique car prices. I'm not familiar with fire trucks. That's your guys' domain. But if there's a big savings from coming down a few stories in the tower, I'd like to pursue it.
Okay. And two, there's a lot of these manufacturers too have maintenance deals too for 2, 3, 4 years depending. So that will also hopefully, in theory, help with the it's a brand new rig, but at least it's covered. Everything's covered maintenance wise, PM wise, and then obviously warranty for bumper to bumper on most of them too. So we're looking at a significant savings in our overall maintenance budget too.
And I don't know if just like we got this one 23 years ago, whatever. Is there demos or stuff that's out there that if they know we're looking for one within the next year and then the other one another 2 years, and whenever you put this program into place, that maybe that the salesman's rep or something like, hey, Blue Island, in 3 years, we're going to have this one available for you. And we don't need it for 4 years, but they have it in 3 years. We might jump on it to save the cost. That happens.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of them, Alderman Bilotto, about that, and they've given me, they do specs, well, not as frequently until COVID hit, but we've discussed that with a couple, or I've discussed it with a couple of them, where if we're serious about doing this, they'll look at getting something on the line with the hopes or the thought that we are going to be purchasing it. So yeah, that's doable for sure.
I mean, we know we're going to have to eventually do something soon. So yeah, I would support an option like that. Just like in the past, we got this one as a demo. And the worst case scenario, we could put old Bess back out into service, see if she's still.
Hopefully it would look good, but hopefully we don't have to get to that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Chief Rita regarding this?
Yes, I got a couple questions, Chairman. One to you. Do we have a grant writer?
Do we still have a grant writer?
No, we do not have a grant writer. No.
Okay, so can we put that out? As far as we're looking for a grant writer, pay based on him writing or she writing grants, because there's a lot of grants and stuff for some of the things that Chief Rita and RZAP is asking for, as well as probably our public works, because everything we got is antiques. You know, like Alderman Bilotto said, we kind of like them, but I don't want to have an antique to try to save my life, you know. And I was wondering, what is the height of the Libby building and Moraine Valley's new school building?
Well, those are, Moraine Valley's 5 stories. Libby
Five
building's
standard, yeah.
4, and but they're commercial, so you're looking at probably 70 feet, 80 feet for both of them. So again, there's different options, and it's not so much, I mean, the height, the height is what obviously a ladder is for, but there's different, depending on operationally what we're looking to do, there's different things that we can do to achieve. I mean, it's doable. So if we get 100-foot replacement straight stick instead of a tower ladder, it's still operationally what we're looking to do would be functional, would still make most of the roofs that we need to make in town, and do everything that a tower ladder would do, minus obviously having the ability to work out of a basket.
Okay, that sounds pretty good, but I wanted to just bring that up about a grant writer chairman for us to try to work on in the very, very near future. And like I said, instead of us putting them on our payroll or her on our payroll, that we give them a percentage of whatever the grant they write.
Sure. All right, we'll think about that too with the appropriation coming up
Kevin, can I jump in on that?
very shortly. Yeah, go ahead. Sean.
So, that recommendation was made quite a while ago by the Public Health and Safety Committee. I believe Alderman Johnson made that. It's before COVID. I know that because I remember putting that in the minutes from a Public Health and Safety meeting that we hire a grant writer and pay them commission or whatever the case may be. So that suggestion has been run up the flagpole once, but I agree with Dex. We need to really push that issue.
All right, got it. Well, Topeka, if you want to take note when we're start doing the appropriation come November, December, we remember to possibly include that.
Noted, Chairman.
Great, thank you. All right, any other questions for Chief Rita for the fire department vehicle replacement program recommendations? None. All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion by Johnson.
All right, is there a second?
Bilotto.
All right. Motion by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Bilotto. We'll be doing a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, great. Motion's carried. Chief, we have one more item. I'll just keep you going right here. This is item 12. It's the fire department budget transfer request.
Actually,
I
Chairman,
believe,
I was gonna handle that.
Okay, go ahead,
option.
Topeka, sure.
Give me 1 second. I actually closed it out. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so the fire department needs to do a budget transfer request of $1,500 because they had an invoice that came in for a repair of their informer alerting system. And the invoice amount is more than the balance on the account. The balance on the account is $608, and the invoice is for $830. So they're requesting the $1,500 budget transfer request from operating supplies because that transfer request will cover the repair to the informer alerting system and the other items that they have previously appropriated for the radios and the radio equipment.
Okay, seems simple enough. Any questions? All right, is there a motion to approve item number 12, the budget transfer request for the fire department?
Bilotto makes a motion.
All right,
Johnson, second.
I heard Alderman Johnson first in the second there. So Alderman Bilotto made a motion. Alderman Johnson made a second. We'll be doing a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue, aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Topeka, and thank you, Chief Rita. All right, final item before adjournment. Item number, we're going to step back one. It's Police Department STEP Grant for fiscal year 2021. I saw Chief Arzab is on the call. If you just maybe wanted to explain what we are approving here.
Yes, Alderman, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, Chief.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman. Good evening, everyone. So this grant is offered through the Illinois Department of Transportation for the Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program. The police department has participated in this program in the past, so it's not something new to us, but it has been a few years since we've been either awarded or we've applied for it. So we had an opportunity this year to apply again. So we did, and I was notified last Monday that we were awarded the grant. So in order for us to participate, we have to sign the agreement before October 1st, because it actually runs from October 1st of this year until September of next year. The grant will fully reimburse 580 hours of full-time officers overtime to conduct traffic enforcement for speeding, impaired driving, occupant safety, such as seat belts and child restraints, and distracted driving laws, such as texting and talking on your cell phone. This was brought up last Tuesday. We discussed it with Public Health and Safety last week, and Alderman Klinker can attest to that. And it was approved by Public Health and Safety to advance to the Finance Committee tonight. And the city attorney has reviewed the agreement, and it's something that he was familiar with in the past. And he has also prepared the resolution for tomorrow night's city council meeting if the Finance Committee tonight approves it. So I'm asking for approval for an agreement to enter into an agreement for this STEP grant.
All right, great. Sounds all great to me. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a little something, Chairman, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, Alderman, please.
One, I want to thank Chief Arzab and Chief Rita for, continuing to try to save us, man. But as I asked and suggested earlier about a grant writer, it's something that they could do where their time could be, more, spent somewhere else. But I just appreciate this grant, something Chief, myself and Arzab talked about, the safety of our residents. But I'll make a motion for this, if you don't mind, Chairman.
No, absolutely. Thank you. So we have a motion by Alderman Johnson. Is there a second?
Bilotto.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, we had a motion by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Bilotto. We'll be doing a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue, aye. Alderman Bilotto.
Aye.
Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you, Chief Arzab, for getting this and presenting it tonight.
Yes, you're very welcome, and thank you all for approving it.
Yep, and great job yesterday. I know you guys had a crazy situation there, so just wanted to say good job to all the police and your staff that was involved.
Yes, absolutely, our pleasure.
All right, any aldermanic comments or concerns before we adjourn? I have one. Hey, Carrie, the WOW trailer in the Public Works yard, Jim Poster was telling me something about that, and he was just curious what the status is or what's kind of happening with that. Are we going to try to renegotiate any of that?
There is a lease between the city and WOW to allow WOW to store their equipment in that large, for lack of a better term, I guess you'd call it, structure. I don't have a copy of the lease. I can ask the city clerk if he has a copy. It was, if I'm not mistaken, when it was initially negotiated, it was a 20-year lease. I don't know when the lease expires, but they paid their rent for the entire 20-year period at the time when the lease was first signed. And so it may very well be subject to reopening at this point in time. I'd have to get a copy of the lease from the city. I do not have, or from WOW. I do not have a copy at this point, but if it is open for a new term, certainly it's open for negotiation. I talked with Mr. Cheryl probably about 2 weeks ago about this because apparently they wanted to have customers be allowed to come in and apparently drop off or pick up new equipment. And I told them that was never part of the original lease as I recalled it. But that was the last conversation I had with him, Alderman Donahue.
Great, thank you. It was fresh in my mind, so I just didn't want to forget. So, excellent.
I'll follow up tomorrow with the clerk or try to get a copy of the lease from WOW. If we have a contact for WOW, I'll be happy to communicate with them, okay?
All right, great, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, seeing if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
All right, is there a second?
Klinker.
All right, we had a motion by Alderman Alexander, second by Alderman Klinker for adjournment. We will be doing a roll call vote. Alderman Donahue's an aye. Alderman Bilotto.
No.
All right, Alderman Klinker.
Aye.
Alderman Alexander.
Funny. Yes, aye.
And Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
All right, 4 ayes and 1 no. Fred, the meeting's adjourned. We'll see everyone again next Monday at 6 o'clock. Have a good night.
See you later. Adios.